What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with Dilly Vanilli. We are here to preview, break down, and predict the Denver Broncos 2019 NFL season. The Broncos went through some changes. Head coach, Vic Fangio, he's new. Vance Joseph, see ya! Vance Joseph was probably like one of the worst coaches in the NFL, if not the worst. So I'm happy that they made that change. John Elway made some moves in this offseason that I think were actually pretty good. I know that he's taken a lot of criticism, but he is a pretty good GM in my opinion, at the very least. And this offseason was one of his better ones. Dalton Risner at right guard in the draft. Noah Fant in the draft. They add Drew Lock in the draft, Steele in the second round. Even if he ends up to be nothing, that talent level in the second round is a steal. Then you look on the defensive side of the football. They add a Kareem Jackson and a Bryce Callahan to the secondary. I think this is a defense that could potentially be an elite unit. I think it could be. It has the potential to be the best defense in the league. Maybe it won't be, but it has the potential to be. Offensively is the concern. Can Philip Lindsay continue to find the success on the ground? Can Joe Flacco give them better quarterback play? That's the question. Dylan, what do you see from the Broncos this year? I know it's a very difficult division with two AFC contenders within their division. Do you see them taking steps forward, taking steps backwards? Where do you see the Broncos?
Mitch, I don't know if we've used this term yet, but I will implement this term here for this video. This is a filler season for the Broncos, which means they're looking for 2020. They are looking for the future. And 2019 is just a stepping stone for what they need to do, because while they had a really good offseason, I don't expect much coming out of it, and they just want to hurry up and get into next year so they can make more plans and help this team get in the playoffs. My record for the 2019 Broncos is 5-11, which is the exact same as the Raiders. Again, it's just one of those teams that I just didn't expect them to get a whole lot of wins. And again, they're in a really good division. They play some really tough teams. For example, they play the Bears or the Packers. That's not easy. They play the Chargers twice a year. Play the Bills, which I think are going to be a very underrated team this year. Colts, Chiefs. I mean, it's not easy, guys. It is not an easy record for them. We start off with the talent. I think when you lose, or when you have this group of guys here, you got Cortland Sutton, Emmanuel Sanders. They're good. I like them. Especially, Cortland Sutton's great. Emmanuel Sanders, I've had my opinions about him in the past, but I think they've got some good talent here. We'll see what goes on with that. Offensive line, I think is good. You drafted a right guard in Dalton Risner that Mitch brought up in the second round, which I really liked. I really like getting that acquisition there. Noah Fant in the second round, the second tight end taken from Iowa in the first round, late in the first round. They got him before their quarterback, which is interesting. I think he's going to be a nice third piece for them as in terms of receiver quality. Philip Lindsay, absolutely love that he had a great year last year. I mean, just undrafted, put in a lot of work, a lot of effort, and had a really great standout year. Defensively, I mean, you got my boy, Von Miller, right in the background. He is one of the best still today in the NFL. Absolutely amazing from A&M, of course. And you look at the talent, and you would expect, how can they possibly be 5-11? One, the schedule, and two, Joe Flacco is Joe Flacco. I mean, guys, Joe Flacco. This is what I mean by filler year. They got Joe Flacco so they can train Drew Lock. They can guide Drew Lock into a little bit of something, because if he's trained by nobody, he's just going to be thrown to the wolves here. But if at least he has Joe Flacco, who's won a Super Bowl way in the far dark ages of 2012, when he is a veteran quarterback. He's not good anymore. I know a lot of my friends joke with me that he's good, but he's not. This is 2019 we're talking about. He is going to fill in the role of Broncos quarterback. Fine. He'll play okay, have decent stats, but he's not going to shock the world or anything. And I think this Broncos team will disappoint because of the offensive production. Because if you look at their defense, they got really good talent. Kareem Jackson comes onto the team. I like him. Chris Harris is still one of the best corners, in my opinion. Bradley Chubb and Von Miller together, I think could be one of the best duos we have in the NFL in terms of a defensive line unit. But that offense is just not impressing me as much as I would want them to. And I think that's going to have to wait another year or two. But right now, I'm seeing them as 5-11. Joe Flacco, filler year for them.
I think that's actually a good adjective to use, a filler year. I think that's a good one because I feel like this team is waiting for Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's waiting for Drew Lock to get things done. And I do see the pieces around Drew Lock in a season or potentially at the end of this season where we're actually talking about the Broncos as a bright young team in the NFL. Like I could see that. They have a growing offensive line unit with Garrett Bowles, Connor McGovern, Dalton Reisner, Juwan James, great offseason pickup at right tackle. Maybe a little bit overpaid, but good player. Courtland Sutton, I want to see what we get out of him. He's going to be asked to do more this year. He's going to be permanently in that Demaryius Thomas spot after Demaryius Thomas vacated it through that trade and now is on the Patriots. Emmanuel Sanders, good to know that he's actually practicing right now because I didn't think he was going to be back for a long time. So that actually hurt my outlook of this team earlier this offseason when I was thinking about how this team was going to do. Because Emmanuel Sanders is a really good player and by far their best receiver and best option in the passing game. And without him, I don't think this team's the same. That allows Sutton to be a number 2 and Hamilton to be a number 3. So it just helps this team. Hamilton, I think, is interesting as well. I think they're kind of grooming him to be the next Emmanuel Sanders. We'll see how that works out. Fangio will have this defense playing for sure. I think Freeman and Lindsey will form a very nice duo at running back. When you look at the defense, I think the front is going to be very good against the run with Shelby Harris and Derek Wolfe, both inside. They drafted Jermonte Jones as some depth. And Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, as you said, one of the best, if not the best pass rushing duo in the league. I think Josie Jewell could have a breakout season this year. Look for that. Todd Davis, pretty good player. I'm intrigued to see Chris Harris coming off the injury. Is he still the elite corner that he used to be? I think Bryce Callahan, one of the better slot corners in the league. How do they use Sua Cravens? Is he going to be a linebacker? Is he going to be a safety? Is he going to play both? That's the one position I feel like is the weakness of the Broncos defense, is the safety position. Kareem Jackson, he kind of does everything. I don't know if he's going to play safety or corner, outside, inside, dude does everything. So, but there's a lot of chess pieces here for Vic Fangio to use on this defense. There's a lot of ways to create and be creative and kind of confuse opposing offenses and quarterbacks. I can see this defense really taking hold of this team and really carrying this team. And if Joe Flacco can just be okay, and which maybe he just can't be okay. But if he can be okay, this team actually could compete. I could see a scenario where this team is like 9-7. I could see it. I'm not going to predict it, though. I am going to go with 6-10 for the Broncos because I do feel like they're going to pick up some wins. Again, Dylan, as I always say, they play 9 home games a year. Yes. So they have an extra home game to go to. It just seems like the Broncos play more home games than everyone else. That's just a joke, guys. Don't worry. But I do think the Broncos will take steps forward this year. I do like a lot of their young pieces. I do think they can be competitive. But when it comes to their quarterback position, it's a significant downgrade and really a disadvantage from the rest of this division, from the rest of this league almost. He's one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And you're going to have to see quite the resurgence from the quarterback position and Joe Flacco for this to really work out as a team in 2019. But as Dylan put it, very good adjective. Filler year for the Broncos. We'll see how it works out in Vic Fangio's first season. Very talented defense and lackluster offense with some promising young pieces. Can they put it together into a winning team? We don't quite see it yet, but maybe it could happen. Gronk, spike the like button. Comment below your opinion on the Broncos. What do you see from this team in 2019? And subscribe to the Bottom Line View if you haven't already. It's Mitch and Dylan. Peace out.
Peace.